Hello,
Hi guys,
we're Middleway. I'm Gavin.
I'm Katrina. Just waiting for people to log in and let us know if you can hear us.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll just give it a 5
Just
minutes
see
for
if-
people to say hello, I guess.
Hi there. We're just waiting for people to log in. Give people a few minutes. I'm Katrina.
Gavin
This
again.
is Gavin. I've done this a few times. If you're just joining us, hi and welcome to our factory. We are a husband and wife duo that started Middleway Drinks back in 2017. We took on this unit and we started selling in summer 2018. So initially we'll just talk you through our products. Some of you may have tried them already and some of you may not have yet, so I'll just introduce you to that.
Okay.
So these are our 5 products at the moment. They're all naturally brewed soft drinks. So we'll start off with our 2 original flavours. That's Sicilian lemon and sour cherry. Our sour cherry won a Great Taste Award in 2018, which we're really proud of. That's my favourite flavour. Then in the autumn of 2018, we brought out Apple and Ginger, which is our bestseller, and this week just won a Great Taste Award again, so that will also be getting a wee sticker, just like the cherry one. The next to be launched was our Lime and Mint, and that was last autumn, so that's our attempt at a sort of mojito, really refreshing, minty citrus drink. And then in the new year, we launched Black Currant, so I don't think we'll have to explain where the motivation for launching a blackcurrant drink was, but it's a very popular flavour. So all our drinks have less than 5% sugar and no sweeteners at all, so that's something that we really wanted to do. Was basically we're finding it really hard to find drinks that didn't have sweeteners because of the sugar tax that came in. If you ever look at the back of a food or drink label, well, a drinks label, if you see that a drink is like 4.9% sugar, it's probably got sweeteners in there just to bring it down. A lot of the big brands did reformulate. So when we were out and about, we were really struggling to find drinks that didn't have sweeteners, and we were getting a bit bored of water and of fruit juice. So that's where our name Middleway comes from. We're the path between extremes. We're not a diet drink and we're not a full sugar drink. Like, there is a path in the middle there. So that's why we launched the drinks that we did. They're all based on water kefir. That's the base of our products, and that's a fermented drink. And then we add our pure fruit juices to flavour. If you have any questions at any point, feel free to type them, and my cameraman Gavin will read them out to me. And if we don't get around to answering them, then we will afterwards. So we did recently redesign our bottles, as you may know them on Neighbour Food, used to look like this. So basically back in March we discovered we couldn't get this shape anymore, and that's why we moved to this shape instead, and we decided to go for a more fruity, refreshing flavour with our new branding. And today is the first time we're announcing our new product, which is water kefir kits. So these are wee sachets, and they'll be available on Neighbour Food very soon, and also on our website. This basically has the culture in it that creates the base of our flavours, so you'll be able to make your own. It's a really versatile drink. You can make it fizzy if you want, just naturally it goes fizzy if you shut it and leave it, and you can mix it with other flavours. You can use them as mixers as well. Some of the feedback we've had from customers is the apple and ginger one's nice with whiskey, although I wouldn't like to tell that to a Scot because they might get upset. The lime and mint one, we enjoy having it with rum and a wee bit of fizzy water. It makes a really quick and easy mojito. And we've also heard from a neighbour food customer that the sour cherry one is really, really nice with Prosecco added. So there's a few ideas for you there. So in terms of actual water kefir, we're going to switch over now. So Gavin's going to show you what water kefir culture actually looks like, and just give you a quick demo on how to make your own, basically from the kits. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so this is quite different to how we make them commercially, but we thought we'd do a little demo of how you might make sort of water kefir at home. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but I'm trying to keep it simple. So I've got a lot of pre-made things here. So I think the first thing you need to do is you need to sort of wake up your grains. Usually when you get them, you'll get them in a dried format. Sometimes you can buy them fresh as well, but it doesn't really matter. Ours we sell are dried. So what happens is you take the fresh grains, you lay them out, they dry them, and they go into a sort of, the yeast and bacteria almost go into a sort of hibernation state. So we need to wake them up. So if we sort of open this up, got a little biodegradable pouch. Right. Then we've got a little instruction book label. It more or less goes through what we're going to go through here. And inside you've got these, which are your water kefir grains. Now they're minuscule because, as like most living things, they're mainly water. So when they dehydrate them, they get very, very small. When they rehydrate, they get up to about, as you can see the difference there, they're quite significantly bigger once they rehydrate. The colour is down to just what they've been cultured in. So if you culture them in a very mineralised environment, they go brown. If they're not so mineralised, they kind of stay white. It's not, doesn't make any difference at all. I'm just going to go fetch some scissors. So what I've got here is just, what you want is basically 5% sugar water, and the sugar you want to use is a brown sugar, any brown sugar, so that you get a reasonable mineral content. They basically need two things: they need sugar and they need minerals, and these can come from a lot of sources, but for start, brown sugar is all they need. So we'll just open these up. There we are. And then just put them in there. That is all you need to do. So, I say this is just boil some water in the kettle. I'll add maybe 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar. Let it cool. Add your grains. Give it a quick stir. Make sure it's all in there, and then leave it for about 24 hours and it's more or less ready. You might want to do this twice, give it some more sugar water second day just to get it really going before you start to go big and make your drink, but it's really up to you. Yeah. So it'll start off like this and it will end up like inflating to that, and hopefully you'll see some bubbles and things like that as well. Okay, so once we've rehydrated them to this, we're now going to make a sort of a drink. Now, I think that the simplest one we can make is more or less a sort of lemonade, it's really simple and it tastes really good, so it's a good place to start. So, I've just got a litre of boiled water, so if you want to make more or less as time goes on, just scale everything up. Now, so the amount of sugar I want to add is between about 5 and 10%. So we've got a litre of water, we want to add between 50 and 100 grams of sugar, and that's just to taste. So that would be maybe between about 4 tablespoons roughly is where we're going to start with. So we're going to do that. We'll add 4 tablespoons. So 1, 2, say just like it's not an exact science. These things can tolerate quite a large variety of things, and they'll adjust to suit. Like if you culture in low sugar, about 5%, your grains end up smaller because they need more surface area to get the sugar. If you put culture in higher sugar or you end up with huge grains, maybe about the size of marifat peas. They'll adapt to whatever you do. So that's pretty much dissolved. This is quite warm from the kettle still. In terms of temperature, you want it warm but not too warm. So anything below about 30 degrees is fine. So it goes anything above about 35 and you'll kill them, or slowly. When you go down to about 30, they're fine, but it'll favour the yeasts, as in between the yeast and the bacteria, the yeasts will run at 100 miles an hour and the bacteria won't even get off the start. So that it's not very balanced, but they'll be okay. And then the ideal is sort of mid-20s, maybe about 22 to 25. That's where they sort of hit their balance, where they sort of work together. As I say, they are fairly forgiving. You're very unlikely to encounter a problem, but just with things like warmish. So we're going to add our grains in. So there they go. I'll give them a swirl for the sake of looking pretty. And then that's it. In fact, actually, I need to fit a lemon in here, so I'm just going to tip just a smidgen away. There we go. Now, that's it. Right, now, so what you've got here is more or less brown sugar water, and what's going to happen, just even within this, is the grains the grains going to basically eat the sugar and produce organic acids and various other things. That's what kind of gives it its character. So if you start at 5% sugar, it's going to go 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the acids are going to come up. Now, there's a point where it becomes pleasant. So there'll be a point where it's maybe 3% sugar and a little bit of acids, and it's a lovely little balanced taste. If you leave it for a week, you're going to end up with something resembling vinegar, which is more of a condiment. So it's up to you if you want to make a kefir condiment. Now, right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in unwaxed lemon. So the reason you can use a waxed lemon and you can clean it, I think you can use hot water and stuff, but I'd recommend just buying an unwaxed lemon. And I'd probably just cut it into quarters. Here, so let's do this. Now, this is quite a good thing because lemons are, especially the rind of the lemon, is got loads of calcium and loads of bioavailable things, which are kind of good for you, but also they're good for these. Like calcium especially is one of the biggest sort of things that drive the growth. So just leaving this sort of floating in there will really help them out. So all I do is kind of squeeze in the juice. That gives it a bit of an acidity boost as well. So the acidity helps drive away certain nasties that you don't want, like molds and also there's all sorts of things you don't want, and most of them don't like acidic conditions. So while these make acids, the little acidophiles, the technical term. So it's good that we do that. So what would you get? The lemon juice, and the other thing, you get some of the the lemon oil stuff that leaches out the skin as well. So putting the skins in there makes it get even more lemony. So that's all you do. Now the next point is, with any fermentation, it attracts flies. So like anything fermented, we were talking sourdoughs, everything, and everything in nature wants to eat this. So this is why you need to cover it. So if we'll give a wee shot of that. So usually we do it in a big bell jar like this, but we're doing a jug to kind of show that you don't need anything. You don't need to buy anything. This is all doable with just normal kitchen things. And clean towel. And usually, if you're going to do it in a jar, it's quite nice like this, where you put it over and you put your elastic band or something to secure it. But all you have to do is really cover it. Now you don't want to seal it at this stage, because you want the air to get to it, because there's two kinds of fermentation. There's with air and without air. So you can say aerobic with air or anaerobic without air. And if without the air, they switch into producing more or less alcohol. So you'll be making some sort of lemony kefir beer if you took it away. I don't think you can make much, but if you properly seal them up, I think you probably could make about a 3% alcoholic drink. Compared to if you leave it open to the air, it's virtually negligible. We've tried to measure it, and we've never been able to actually measure it. So if you do it right, air gets to it, there's no alcohol. But it is possible. So just cover it up so we don't get any nasties. Leave it for about 2 days. Feel free to just take a tablespoon, dip it, take a taste. When you feel like it's about right, decant it into a bottle, put it in the fridge, and that'll slow the fermentation down, and it'll stay stable for about a week or two, so you can drink it. You can also put it in a sealed bottle, so I would recommend, we use things like this, flip tops, but if you're starting out, I would heavily recommend you just use a fizzy water plastic bottle. There's a good reason for that you get, the pressure builds up in the bottle, so as it'll fizz up, it'll make bubbles. That's all good, and once you get the hang of it, it's all fine. But if you don't want to take the risk with exploding glass bottles and things, just use an empty fizzy water bottle, much safer, and you can just give it a squeeze to see when it's all fizzy. It's much safer. Right, so got so anyway, yeah, that's about as natural a sort of brewed lemonade as I think you could ever ask for, and it does taste great, and it is. And we have tried it. We have, of all these things, we've tried comparing with and without the fermentation. The fermentation definitely does enhance it, as in I'd say water kefir, sort of a brewed lemonade drink, tastes better than the equivalent, just the ingredients as they were. It's all complex and I'm sure it would take a scientist years to figure out all the wee things that are going on, but it works. So I'll hand over to Katrina, and she can give you a little bit of a tour of our wee factory. Okay.
Okay. Thanks. So the kits that Gavin was using there, with the dried culture, we will be putting them on Neighbour Food in the next week or two, and they'll also be available on our website as well. Like Gavin showed, you don't need any specialist equipment, just a jug, really just a jug and a tea towel or a topper, So you just want to be getting the air in about it, but not letting anything land on it, like Gavin said. So when I say factory, it's quite funny because it's just like a big room, but we'll show you our factory. We'll actually start outside. I'll just show you whereabouts we are. Some people may be local, some people maybe not, but I'll just give you a quick tour.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's start outside. Seems.
Okay, so this is where we are.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Right.
So we're at Bleevenside Business Court in the Vale of Leven Industrial Estate in Dumbarton. So if you know Dumbarton, it's basically the same industrial estate as the Chivas plant. So these units were built by the council in 2015, and we got this one in 2017, and it hadn't been used before, so it was just an empty box for us to do what we needed, which was really good because we'd seen industrial units all over the place, and we didn't see one as nice and clean as this, and it's easy to get started. So
Yeah. Yeah, just saying that that's some of our absolute first generation labels
yeah,
from
it's like-
years ago.
This is the museum.
Absolutely first generation.
So yeah, it's a 75 metre squared unit with its own self-contained bathroom, things like that. It's possibly the coldest place on Earth in the winter. It hasn't actually been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it is. So our main area where we do our brewing, we call it brewing because that's what it is a non-alcoholic brewing process, is in our tanks here, so let's come over. We've got a batch on at the moment, so this is destined to be lemon, and we will be bottling that tomorrow. So Kefir doesn't care about the weekends. Sometimes it finishes like once, and sometimes it will finish at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes it finishes at 6 in the morning, and at the moment we just have to go with it when it's ready. So we know what pH we're waiting for, and that's for us the perfect balance of sweetness and acids. So basically this is a 250 litre tank, of which it's just basically the big version of what Gavin just showed you there. So it's mineralised sugar water. So for our purposes we use molasses and white sugar, but basically brown sugar is a combination of those two things, so it's easier at home just to use brown sugar. So we fill up and we add our kefir grains, but we use like a big tea bag. So we suspend the grains, and then over the course of 48 hours, or sometimes a bit longer in the winter, it ferments some of the sugars and minerals into vitamins and organic acids. We've got a wee sleeve here. This is just a temperature sleeve because in the winter it really is cold.
Yeah.
And our culture likes to be about sort of normal room temperature. It's a lot more cost effective for us to use this than to heat the unit all the time. So once that's done its fermenting, we then pass it through a filter into our second tank, and this tank here is the one we use for mixing, and this is where we add our pure fruit juices as well. So we strip out the bacteria for a few reasons. First of all, basically if you wanted to do a full ferment, then the drink would not be sweet anymore, and what we were aiming to do is bring fermented drinks to the masses, so we wanted it to be sweet enough to taste that people still enjoy it and still be less than 5% sugar. So that's partly why we do that. Also, a lot of people don't really like things floating in their drinks, and as soon as you seal it, and once if it was to finish eating all the sugar, it would fall out and it would look quite ugly at the bottom. But that's just what we do, but lots of different people do different things. So this tank is then full, ready to be bottled. So we bottle it over here. So we've got a 6 nozzle filler here, which we line up our bottles under here, and we've got it all set up. So we just press go, and 6 at a time we can bottle. So we call ourselves like semi-manual. So we're not filling with a jug, but we're by no means like automated system. So once that's all done here, that's when we take it across here. This is our room here, and this is we built it ourselves. So the reason we do this is because we're a fermented drink, but we're not a probiotic drink. That's why we sell the kits and things, and it's much easier for people to make it themselves at home. You're not actually allowed to use the word probiotic in the EU, and there's not enough studies to actually sort of quantify it yet. So for us to be able to reach the masses with our drinks and lower sugar products without sweeteners, that's what we do. If you are looking for a probiotic, honestly, like the milk kefir is the best way, because the fat in the milk shields the bacteria anyway, and it actually makes it through the gut. So yeah, that's bottling day. It's quite labour intensive. It can take about 8 hours. And then the following day we label. I'll show you the labelling machine. So yeah, this is our labelling machine. It's very simple. It just stamps the date here, and we just pull it, and it puts the labels on very easily. And if there's a Great Taste Award to go on, which there are now 2 for our 5 for 2 of our 5 flavours, we add that on here as well. And then we box them up and we ship them out. So we sell We sell on Neighbour Foods, we sell in Killen, Balfron, and also Dumbarton, which is just starting collections today. And we also, on our website, we sell, and we also sell through Green City Whole Foods and Press
Yeah.
Company Marketplace. So that's how cafes and shops get hold of our drinks.
Yeah, it's probably worth saying how good these things like Neighbourhood are for us, like compared to, say, Amazon, where we can sell something for about, I don't know, £17 a box and make no money at all.
Yeah, we did just sell on Amazon Prime, and it was a really good way of us to get new customers. However, the rumours are true, and it's not friendly at all to producers, to be honest.
No.
It would shock you how little was left after Amazon took their cut. But so when we found out about these Neighbour Foods and these online farmers markets, they're perfect for us because our products are not chilled, so that means we can leave stock with the Neighbour Food hosts, and they very, very kindly will fulfil our orders for us when we can't make collections. And it's just a really great way of people getting to try local foods in their area without that maybe they didn't realise were being made quite nearby. So it's really good. When we started selling to Neighbour Food markets, I think there were probably less than 10, and the last time I checked on the website there were like dozens, so it's really good. People are getting into it, especially with what's happening with COVID. It's just a really easy way to support your local communities. And they do tasting events normally when you know the world is spinning again, which are really a really good way for customers to try our products and chat to us. But they're also a really good way for producers to meet with each other, because sometimes it can feel a wee bit isolating. You know, if we're just coming in here, we're making our drinks, and we don't get to meet other producers. So.
It's
We'll put this on
yeah,
there.
there
we go.
Yeah, I think Neighbourhood's such a change from the sort of race to the bottom that say the supermarkets and the things like Amazon are. It's say like a vegetable farmer. It's like if Tesco is 80% of his trade, and they only offer him a penny a carrot or something like that. He can't deliver the best produce, and you end up paying the same rate, and he makes no money. He can't deliver the best produce. So the only people who win would be like Tesco and Tesco shareholders with that sort of model. You know, with this sort of model, you get better produce. They get to make a reasonable living. It's these things are really worthwhile. I think I'm very for these sort of things.
Yeah, we pretty much promote these online markets to any other producers we meet, because they've been really good for us, and quite novel, a novel way of buying your food. But it does be standing out in the rain on a Saturday morning when no one's coming out, and you've paid for a stall, especially for stuff like ours, because we are low value, and we're clunky as well. You don't want to be walking around a market with 12 bottles of our drinks in a bag. So we really enjoy them. We think it's a really good way of bringing local food to the communities. So we hope to see more of them growing.
Okay, all right.
Well, I think that's about us for today.
Yeah.
It's quite a small factory, so. But thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully, if you want to try some of our products, either get in touch direct or hit up your local Neighbour Food.
Yeah, when we're allowed to meet you all, I'm sure we'll do tasting sessions and all that sort of
exactly.
good stuff. So, all right.
Okay, great.
Goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye. Have a good weekend.